Hey guys, it's Stephanie Walsh from Side B Radio. I am chatting with Matt Lindblad from Rebel Revive. How's it going, Matt?
Lovely.
Cool. So, Rebel Revive is from Orange County, California.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how long have you guys been making music?
Um, well, I started Rebel Revive about 2 years ago. But before that, I've been in and out of a lot of different bands. I played in a band called New Year's Day, a band called Banner Hill. Butch Cassidy was a hardcore band I started like years ago. Band called Inked and Blood on Face Down Records. So I've been doing a lot of different styles and starting and playing in various bands. But Rebel Revive's been a band for 2 years, and it started with me writing all the music and playing all the instruments on the album, and then afterwards, after I had the product, then finding some friends to play live shows with and stuff. And um, so yeah, I mean, it started, I think it was April 2012, so something like that. But I actually had started writing for the band in 2011, not knowing that I was going to start a new band. I was just like making music for fun, and then once I brought that music home and showed people, people were like, "You got to start something with this. Like, this is impressive." Um, so it was kind of a cool feeling to work on something so hard, not even expecting anything of it, and then to have that affirmation from friends and people that have supported my bands throughout the years. So it's pretty awesome.
Now, you're obviously the front man, and you said you wrote everything. Your website says that you also recorded everything.
Yeah, yeah. So I wrote it all, sang it all, played it all, and then going into the studio, like I did all that in the studio. So I tracked drums, and then we put down guitars, then bass, then vocals, and yeah, I just do that. I drive up to Sacramento. I recorded with a guy named Colby Wedgeworth. He did bands like The Main, The Century, the Century, sorry, Lydia. Um, and so right away I knew I wanted to work with him because he had worked on an album that I played on years ago for a band that I helped start called Banner Hill, which is kind of along the lines like Paramore. Um, and so right away when I finished these songs and like we're ready to record them, the final products, like, dude, I just got to go to Colby. He's someone that I've known for years. It's someone that I've worked with before, and that I trust with my sound and final product. So I just did that. Like I would drive up there, sleep in my van at like a Denny's, or like a friend's house or whatever, and then during the day just record at Colby's house, and it was awesome. It was like it's so much fun, just being able to do that and put together songs like myself. And I love writing with other people. It's like a blast, but I definitely trust my own ear after playing music for 11 or 12 years now. So I've developed it to a point where I'm very happy with the sounds I'm getting and stuff like that. So yeah, recorded it all, did everything myself. So
So when you
yeah,
play shows, I saw that you have a show coming up this week, right?
yes, actually just got announced today. Yeah, when we play shows, I have a full band. So the guys in my band are like permanent members.
Okay.
And they also play in other bands, so we all are very musical. But yeah, my other members are Chris. He plays guitar and sings, and he also fronts a band called Bird in the War, which is like very, very indie and awesome. Love it. And then our bass player Devin plays in Bird in the War as well. And then our drummer Gus, he's been with me since the beginning. He's like just a solid drummer. I've always trusted him with just nailing the parts, and just a really cool guy. And so he plays in another band called On Being Human from out here, and they're kind of like a 30 Seconds to Mars sounding band. And so we all were very like involved in the music scene, even outside of Rebel Revive. I'm always at shows. I'm always, helping friends' bands out. I just recorded bass on my friend's album, a band called City by Storm. And so yeah, just very busy with that. And so when we play live, it's basically just like, hey guys, we got show Tuesday, and everyone already knows the parts, and we're already well rehearsed, and just kind of show up and rock. So it's a cool system.
Cool.
It's very fun. So yeah, the show Tuesday is at a venue out here called the Observatory, and it's actually for the OC Music Awards, which is a huge deal because if you think of all the cool bands that have come out of Orange County and the fact that we're a part of it, and it's huge for us because for 7 weeks there's been these band showcases. So each night, probably about 4 or 5 bands play, and there's judges at each one of these nights. And so for 7 weeks, there's been all these showcases, and like 30 bands were a part of it. And so to be selected for the top 5 out of 30 bands, like for the best live band in Orange County, is like huge for us. I mean, especially being such a young band, like, it's definitely like an affirmation of we're doing something right. And realistically, we don't have everything perfect, but I think every time we go up there, we just play like our hearts out and just have a good time. And I think it shows. So yeah.
That's awesome. Is there live video for people who are not in Orange County that can see what you guys do on stage?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some stuff up on YouTube, but we'll probably be filming Tuesday just since it's such a big show for us, and so I'll try to get some footage up.
Cool.
We do have we just put up a live unplugged version of our song Skeletons, which is people are liking, and actually we're kind of leaning towards doing an acoustic version of our current album called 11, which I haven't told anyone, but you get the first insight.
All right, exclusive on side B.
Yeah. So we'll be releasing that probably within the next couple of months, and so yeah, I mean we're just working away over here in Orange County.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to be the biggest thing that you guys have done as a band then, this upcoming.
Definitely one of them. I think until this, it was probably following Warped Tour and playing for the Line. I mean, that was it was just a huge step for us to basically put away our summer into doing Warped Tour. I mean, it's not like no one invited us. We just showed up and we're like, hey, we're here to rock. Just played usually 3-hour sets. Like we play 3 hours a day in the morning, try to sell CDs, and that would be our gas money to get to the next city. And so really there's nothing like just throwing yourself out there. That's what we did. I mean, I played the whole tour in 2011 with New Year's Day, and had a blast doing it. And we were on a stage and all that stuff, but I've always been very do it yourself punk rock attitude. Just get out there, bring your guitar and play songs for people. And so that's what we did in last summer. And so I'm considering doing it again for at least maybe the first half of it or something, but it's definitely financially taxing. and takes a lot out of you. And so we made it all the way to Long Island last summer and then cruised home. So coast to coast. Just crazy to think
awesome.
About. So just 2 guys and 2 guitars. So it's pretty crazy. So yeah, we'll see what this summer holds. We're hoping to get on some sort of tour and bring our music to the rest of the country on a stage. But I mean, really whatever it takes at this point. We're pretty easygoing and willing to work with whatever is given to us. So.
Awesome. Well, I know that a lot of bands obviously don't like to compare themselves to other artists, but if you had to describe your sound to get people who obviously may not be familiar with you, how would you sell Rebel Revive? Who do you sound like?
I would say the bands we get compared to the most are bands like Cartel, Reliant K, Taking Back Sunday, a lot of those bands, that kind of just straightforward pop rock. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to do anything that's trying to invent anything new. I mean, I like having a fresh sound, a relevant sound. That's one thing, but I mean, realistically, my hope is to just play passionate music for people that enjoy rock and roll, and hopefully bring some powerful lyrics to it, and encourage people to pick up instruments and start playing. Because realistically, the bands I grew up on, none of them I don't think were groundbreaking, but they made their spot in the music scene. They brought something unique to it and just had a lot of heart while doing it. And so that's kind of our goal. So yeah, I'd say Cartel, Taking Back Sunday. What else? Yeah, what did you say?
I would say, I don't know. I think you're pretty right up that alley with Taking Back Sunday. Bayside, I think.
Yeah, Bayside.
Bayside's new record today. So I would say all those bands. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not talking to myself, I swear. Wade, this is the singer from City by Storm. He's in the background hanging out. So yeah, so some of those bands, and yeah, I mean, even bands like Paramore with like a guy singer. I mean, there's a lot of bands that I feel are kind of relevant to what we're doing, and I like that about our band because it's not like so genre specific. It's not like we can only play with a certain type of band. Like, I mean, we could put on a good show with Taylor Swift. It's like it's all kind of relevant. I feel like, and coming from hardcore bands and stuff like that, it's nice because so far most people that I show the music to, they're like, I can listen to this. I don't necessarily listen to pop rock, but I can listen to this. It's enjoyable. Whereas like the hardcore bands I play and I'd show it to like, friends, they show it to the parents. They're like, oh, what is this? This guy's screaming at us. So I still love that stuff. And I considered starting a hardcore project again and just kind of seeing where it goes. Because it's just fun. I love just yelling at people and stuff. It's kind of fun. So.
Well, I found you guys on Twitter. I went through the bands that had recently followed the radio account, and I went ahead and just added a bunch of tracks to a playlist on Spotify, actually.
Sweet.
And then, but before even hearing them, I just like put it together because I was like, all right, new music, let's get some fresh stuff. And immediately when your song started, I was like, whoa, what band is this?
Yes, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, and I texted a friend of mine who is like an avid listener, and I was like, you need to check this band out right now. And she was like, holy shit. And it just...
That rules.
That's why I went ahead and reached out to you. So
yeah,
I'm into it.
That's what we're going for. I mean, realistically, I think if you're in a band these days, you have to make a product that people are gonna be wowed by. There's so many different bands, and there's so many different styles and stuff like that. And it's like, I know a lot of bands that will kind of leech off, like, the indie sound or like what's hip or what's popular. And by the time they get it out, it's not even relevant anymore. And so that's why I said we're not trying to like do anything that's just like, holy crap, I've never heard this before. I would rather kind of go like, hey, here's some songs that, for me, people that are like in their 20s, like grew up listening to, like bands like The Used, Taking Back Sunday, all those bands, stemming from that, but also bringing like a fresh twist to it, and a fresh sound that, can be on the radio or whatever else. And so each song is like, especially on the EP, it's funny. It's like each song is its own like sound, like we'll have a heavy song like Nameless Faceless, and then we'll have a song like Better Days where it's just like this nice, like fun poppy tune. I think that just stems from like my wide range of listening to and just the various bands I've been in. So it kind of is all coming together for Rebel Revive. Like it's crazy, like just with everything that's been going on lately. And it's great. Like I love it. And it's definitely a wild ride. Cause getting started, it's so hard. Like,
yeah, of course.
It's like, how do you convince people that have never heard of you that you're a good band? You're asking for their time. You're asking like, hey, can you take three minutes out of your day or 18 minutes if you want them to listen to the whole album? And can you take time out of your day to listen to this? And it's crazy because there's so many bands hitting people up these days. Like, check out our stuff. And I do. Like, I'll listen to bands that send me their stuff, and most of the time it's not good. So, it's just like, it just makes me like not want to listen to anything that people send me, you know what I mean? So,
I hear you.
So, yeah, I can imagine being, a radio host, like, people are just sending stuff all the time. So, so it's funny, the reactions we get on Twitter. Twitter, like, is my go-to. I feel like, I'll just follow people that like Warped Tour or, like, follow people that like certain bands. And, like, usually I send, like, it's an automatic message, to be honest. It's just like, hey, thanks for loving on us. Listen to our music here. Let us know what you think. And the responses we're getting are just, like, freaking awesome. Like, it'll be someone with like Justin Bieber as their photo. And it's like, clearly this isn't someone that's like some rock lover. But they'll be like, oh my gosh, how come I've never heard of you? And so it's really funny. Like, it's just stuff that I never expected. Like, I, first of all, didn't expect to start a new band. I was just like so over starting stuff from the ground up because of the current state of like the music industry. But when I did, like, I just, it uprooted all this passion again in my heart, and like my passion for music, and getting connected with Wade and like his band and stuff. It's cool because we're all like-minded. We all want the same thing. We just want to be rocking stages and having a good time and,
Right.
and entertaining people. And so it's definitely like kind of instilled like, a lot of positivity in my thinking towards music, because I was like, dude, I feel like, a lot of the bands that are doing tours, it's just like these bands that, like, I've heard this a gazillion times. Like, this band has the same exact song with different lyrics as this band, it's just like, so it's been cool. Like, and I'd say it's been the past couple of months that's happened. Everything's kind of coming together. So, like I said, I'm just kind of along for the ride and doing my best to write passionate music. So
Awesome. You had mentioned before that you were talking about like the bands you listened to growing up and how you just kind of want to emulate what they did. Who do you listen to right now?
That's a good question. What was I listening to on the way over here? Arcade Fire. Been listening to them. I just honestly, like, I'll go into a used like record store and just pick up stuff that I think looks cool. Like, who else? A band called Five Iron Frenzy. Like, I grew up on that band, and we had the chance to play with them last year. And I just picked up their new album, and it's like phenomenal. And they took a break for like 8 years, and then put out this new album. So it was cool to hear. Bands like 4 Years Strong, Set Your Goals. I'm always listening to bands like that. A band that I just started listening to, and like I get made fun of for it, is a band called Story So Far. And so like everyone was on their junk, like the past couple of years, I guess. And I just decided to like sit down and listen to them. Like, I was like, this is really good. This is like some good tunes. So then, this is kind of embarrassing because I knocked this band for so many years, but Bring Me the Horizon's new album. And I never thought I'd hear myself say that, just because I don't know. They were just one of those bands that was like easy to make fun of.
Like Nickelback?
Yeah, like Nickelback. Not as bad as Nickelback. But I have a funny story about that. But yeah, I listened to Bring Me the Horizon's new album. I was like, I can't deny this stuff. It's great. So, Hundredth's one of my favorite bands. And then the band that like basically like got me to start playing music is called MXPX.
I know MXPX.
Yeah, they're killer. And so I just saw them live with Chris Rowe from the Ataris, and it just like it got me pumped on that kind of stuff again. So I've been listening to a lot of them. And then Sum 41. We super random, but Wade messaged Derek from Sum 41, and I guess Derek had posted something like, "Hey fans, like hit me up. I get bored and I just randomly call people." So Derek called Wade at the studio, and they had like a 45-minute conversation about music and all that stuff. And so just recently, I know both of us have just been listening to Sum 41 a lot lately and stuff. It was so random. So
that is random, but that's the beauty of like Twitter and social media. That kind of stuff happens.
I know this kind of stuff happens. Interviews. So yeah, I know exactly. It's definitely a wide range. But yeah, that's kind of some of the current bands I've been listening to.
Cool. So you have this show coming up. Ideally, you're going to be on tour this summer.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, what's plan B? What are you hoping to accomplish by the end of the year?
Definitely new music. That's like no doubt about it. Like, regardless of what happens, we're going to be putting out new music. I already have 6 new songs done, cool. Which I probably shouldn't be saying yet, so people don't get too excited. But I think the idea is to just like elongate our current album as well. There's still hundreds of thousands of people that haven't heard it. And so for some of our diehard fans, I feel bad because they're just like, we need new stuff, like give us new music. But I'm just like, we spent so much time and effort and money and everything on that first album, so you guys need to help get that out there, Right. And so I get that. I've growing up, and still I'm just like, there's bands where I'm just like, you need to put out a new album. I don't care what it takes, like brand new. I'm just like, give me something new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the idea, is to release some new music videos. And if we're not touring, man, I don't know. I mean, probably just do what we do every summer. It's show up at Warped Tour and
there you go.
Just play for people that like music. It's funny with that, like a lot of kids we come up to, they just be like, no, we don't want to hear anything. I'm like, all right. And so there was a couple times where we just start playing. Like, I don't care. Like, we're just playing our music, you know? I mean, it's rock and roll. Like, if we piss
Yeah.
someone off, we're doing something right. Um, and so we just would play, and you'd see like their faces change. You know, they'd just be like all grumpy and trying to act cool, and then like, what? Like this stuff's really good.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably do that. I feel like we got such a good response last summer of doing that even if it's just me with my guitar, like I'll go out there and brave the scary young scene kids and all that stuff. So no, I'm just kidding. And so yeah, I mean, I think regardless, it'll be something music related. I'm looking at interning at a record label, and that shall go unnamed, so my job doesn't get stolen from me.
Right.
And looking at doing that, and then also working at Hybrid, developing artists and producing and engineering. So I think regardless, it'll be a music-filled summer. So, but oh yeah, the Nickelback story.
Yes,
Oh,
tell me the Nickelback story.
okay, so Nickelback's just like a laughable band. Like realistically, their music isn't anything that's like crappier than anything else. I mean, there's Creed, there's a ton of those bands, but Nickelback's obviously just like a laughing stock for fun. So it's especially like funny with just my friends and I. We'll just like prank each other with Nickelback and all that stuff. So, anyways, the girl I'm dating, she like for Christmas, she wrapped up this huge chainsaw box and like wrapped it and then had like a bunch of smaller boxes in it and like all this stuff. And I was like, what is this? Like, what did she get me? And the last box, I open it up and it's a Nickelback CD, and I was just like, no! And she got me so good. It was so funny. So yeah, Nickelback's always a running joke. I think I still have the CD in my car, which is kind of embarrassing because we were on the way to like a Christmas party, and she's like, let's just put it in for laughs. And so we did, and it never left my car. I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
I swear, but no. But yeah, that was really funny. She got me so good, and then it ended up being like a GoPro that like was the actual present. So I was stoked on that. But yeah, freaking Nickelback.
Yeah.
If they invited us on tour, we'd probably play it. I don't care.
Well, why, yeah, you should though, because like my favorite band is actually Bush, the
Okay, sweet. Heck
British
yeah.
band Bush. Okay.
I think Glycerine was one of the first songs I learned on guitar, so no shame in
you
that.
just got a little cooler.
Yes.
But they went on tour opening for Nickelback last year.
Did they
which
really?
Yes, which killed me that I had to buy a ticket to a Nickelback concert.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. They should have had separate Bush tickets that like.
Well, it's funny because a lot of their reviews were like, I think Gavin Rossdale didn't realize that he wasn't the headliner because he put on a better show. And I'm like, damn straight he did. But if you think about it, like these arena shows that they played, so many people go. I don't know why. I don't know why Nickelback is so popular, but yes, if you get a chance to tour with them, do it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, like, I mean, some of the songs are just catchy, you know? I mean,
yeah, and that's the thing. They're also really mainstream. Like, so
yeah.
How can you get played on like all those radio stations that just kill songs by playing them to death?
I mean, how can you deny someone with hair that looks like ramen noodles, you know?
It worked for Justin Timberlake back in the day.
That's true. I know. My friend always sends me this picture of Justin Timberlake in this whole jean outfit. It's like a jean,
yeah. I think I remember the outfit.
Yeah, and then Britney was wearing the same thing. It was like, what do you guys do? So maybe that's the secret. I need to bring like entire jean outfits to shows and sell that.
Maybe that's what you should wear to this big show you've got next week.
There you go.
The all denim.
I've done some of the stupidest stuff. I wore a pizza costume. It's like a slice of pizza. Because when we were playing that ska show with Five Iron Frenzy and Codename Rocky and there was one other ska band, Suburban Legends. So it was like a ska fest, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's ska fest," and then we're in the middle of this set, and we're like, "We're not a ska band." Like, we're like, I don't know how we got booked on that. I think that was through Twitter too.
Nice.
I think I tweeted at Sonny, their guitar player, and I was like, "Hey man, we'd love to play with you." So he put us on this all ska show, and so I was like, "Okay, ska's like fun and weird and all this stuff." I'm wearing a pizza costume. I don't care, and this is like right before Halloween too. So like our guitarist Chris, he dressed up like a zombie, and then Gus was like a scarecrow, and it was just like we just put on such a weird show. And then we didn't have a bass player at the time because of circumstances I can't talk about. No, our bass player, who was like our fill-in bassist at the time, like got arrested for not paying his tickets, like speeding tickets.
Oh my god!
And so this is like 2 days before the show, and we're like, okay. So yeah, make sure you pay your speeding tickets. Don't ignore those. Those are important. So yeah, that was funny. We didn't have a bass player, and I was dressed like a pizza. So it's never a dull moment with Rebel Revive, honestly.
I hope
There's been
there's
times.
photos around of that somewhere.
Yeah, we have them on our Facebook.
Nice.
It's never a dull moment. I swear. Every show's like the weirdest crap. Like just, and it's not even intentional. We're just like such weird people, and just like silly. And so like one night, sorry, my dog's barking. So,
It's cool. My roommate's dog was barking before.
and so yeah, one night someone was just like, do a bass solo, and so our bass was like, I just looked at him and was like, do you want to do a bass solo? He's like, okay, and he's like, started like,
Nice.
just like, why not, you know? So there was that. The other night at House of Blues, we were playing House of Blues Anaheim. Like I just have like verbal diarrhea sometimes. Like I don't know what I'm saying on stage. It's just like I don't care to be like some perfect like what's up, mother effers, let's see you move. Like I just hate that. And so I was like, this song's a little heavier, so hold on to your grandmas. And everyone's like, what? Hold on to your grandmas? What's that even mean? Like it was so funny. So yeah, just a bunch of dweeby kids like playing music and loving life. So it's not too bad.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Of course. See ya.
That's fun. Have a good night.
Yeah.